Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that reviews every single video game movie under the sun and beyond the stars, and in a cave for some of us. My name is Ethan, and out here on Penn Island is Devin.
Moshi Moshi.
Answering the call underground in a cave on Penn Island is David.
Hideo, quit fooling around.
Perfect.
This was in Japanese. I don't know what version you watched, David.
Yeah. David was watching a
I said
Hideo
it in
Kojima
Japanese.
biography.
You just understood it.
Yeah,
wow, I'm getting so much better.
This is the Hunt for Red
That's pretty
October. Folks, we're speaking only in Japanese, but like due to clever filmmaking, you're actually hearing English the entire time. So,
incredibly
Sean
complex
Connery,
algorithms in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got the NVIDIA camera stuff going on with all the limp biscuiting, and
Yep.
Devin, David, and myself sat around in our own individual homes, some even in a cave, and watched a 2006 film called Siren, otherwise known as Forbidden Siren, based on the 2006 PlayStation 2 title Forbidden Siren 2, a sequel to a 2003 title called Forbidden Siren. This is made by Sony. The first game, at the very least, was directed by the original Silent Hill director for the first Silent Hill game. I had never played this game before. I had heard of it, obviously, and I know there was a PS3 episodic sequel that was just showing up on like my PlayStation Plus inbox or whatever. I was like, I don't know what this is. It was like 7 million episodes of something called Siren. I didn't know what that was at the time. But this is like a cult classic game, I guess. They only made like those two PS2 games and then that PS3 thing. But I guess people really do remember this game and consider it one of like the PS2 horror games you gotta play or whatever. And it's interesting. Both of those titles involve like multiple different people in the same location, just at different times, trying to avoid monster or like possessed people or whatever. And the whole kind of gimmick to the game is that like your advantage as the player is the ability to sight jack, as I guess the term is called, where you can see through the perspective of these monsters to help give you the idea of where they are in relation to you, and you're trying to do stuff. And I guess for the sequel, I think people give Resident Evil a lot of credit for this, but I guess for the sequel, Forbidden Siren 2, they had things where like, oh, if this one character, whatever time they are doing whatever they're doing on this island, they do this, that affects this other character in their later timeline in the same location, like stuff like that, butterfly affecting around, just cool. But I had never played these games, and I'm curious to know if either of you two have ever heard of the Siren PlayStation 2 game. Devin? David?
No, I've never heard of any of this stuff.
Same.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was trying to guess what kind of game it was. I mean, it became obvious pretty quickly, but yeah, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, and it's like it's a Sony, like they own this. PlayStation owns this. Like they made this. So it's weird. It's like one of their many games that are just like forgotten in the background. There's an Astrobot of one of the just random NPC characters who gets activated by the siren in Astrobot, the video game.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like pulling carrots out of the ground or whatever, and then you hit them, and then there's though that game has like cute like flavor text for each of the bots that's like hinting at the game without overtly saying this one's from MLB The Show, or it's like it's a baseball player. I get it. Or like they mentioned like the siren or whatever in that Astrobot. So like that's like maybe the only pulse of life Sony's willing to give this video game. But we watched a movie based on the second game, which has different characters in it, from what I read. So it's the same island, I guess. It's the same Japanese island. And this
Yame
film,
Island, Yame.
yeah. Or if you're an American Yank, you called it Yame Island until you heard someone pronounce it in the movie. Yeah, this was a hard movie to find. We watched it on Daily Motion. There was a higher
Shout out.
quality version of it, but with not Japanese subtitles, Spanish subtitles.
Damn.
So yeah, it was like because I
Dang.
saw that I'm like, well, this is the only version we're gonna be able to watch, unless because it was a Japanese only release, the film, and like there was one printing of the DVD, and I almost bought from some service online where they basically they own a lot of these DVDs and they're just ripping them and then selling copies on DVD-Rs to people, and I almost bought one for this movie, but like, would it even have English subtitles? Because the ones that we saw were really good. They felt like they weren't someone that just did it. You know what I mean? They felt like that was supposed to be a part of the package, right? So, but on eBay, someone wants to sell the movie for over $100, and I'm like, that would be cool to have, but not something I'm willing to do.
It was like an original movie.
Yeah.
Well, if we had the budget, I think as someone who's, slowly but surely have collected like Criterion Collection or whatever, I would love to do an S-Rank Productions collection where we just do video game movie like restorations, and we get like Neko Atsume House, we get Siren here, and
there's movies later on.
We
in
do
our
our
draft
own
this year that are gonna
S-Rank
be like that.
4K restorations, and they're all subtitles in there, because it is kind of sad that like as we got deeper into this show, like more and more of them are getting harder to find, and it's kind of whether they're good or bad or whatever or in between, like it just sucks that these aren't available. Just
right.
I mean, like Neko Atsume House, we gave that I think an A last year, and it was like really cute and awesome, and it was like we had to like forget where we even found that one, and that one was tough to find, and it wound up being I think it was also Daily Motion. Now that I remember, it was uploaded by some Russian dude or something. But I don't know. It got me like even 5 minutes of this movie, I'm like, man, it's sad that like we can't watch this at its full fidelity as much as we can, or just like this is just I just hope this isn't lost to time. If anything, maybe us doing this episode will like make people curious. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
So
yeah. And like the thing to me, I delve in a lot of video game collecting stuff, and film has similar people in it. Where like this is very rare, and I have one, and it's not really uploaded online. Oops, it's mine. There are people that are like that, very gatekeepy people.
I'm the opposite, where I'm like, it should be accessible.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Hey, it's cool to have it. Be like, yeah, I have the old 35 millimeter in a fucking case of Jaws. Cool, sure, that's awesome. But like everyone should have the access to watch Jaws if they want, or whatever movie it is.
Yeah, and so like again, I looked on eBay. I could probably look on it right now, but I want to take the time. When we were researching for this movie, and over $100 for these DVD copies of this movie. But like, I bet we send Devin back to Japan, he can walk through some of the many media stores in Akihabara and find it for $5. You know what I mean? Just in a bargain bin somewhere, because it's an old ass DVD. It doesn't have the pastiche there that it would here for anyone that wants to watch it, because it's like it's obviously not on streaming. Who the fuck owns the rights? I guess maybe Sony, and just because they own the IP that it's based on.
I don't know if it's different from Sony Japan versus Sony America, and like if they have separate entities even owning these IPs like for distribution, and they don't have. They're like, why would we put the money into putting this on streaming?
Right.
If anyone's gonna look,
or even a Blu-ray, because sometimes movies like this, just in a generalized, like, remember this? They get one Blu-ray run like 20 years later, and it's like, cool, there's a pulse there, and it's like someone can snatch it up and then rip that in online, and now there's a now it's kind of a forever copy. Even
maybe we can start that.
Here we go. We're gonna do
the
it.
hype back up.
I mean, with our YouTube channel is called S-Rank Productions, just because S-Rank was probably taken already. But like, you know what? That's our movie restoration company. There we go. We're gonna start this. Do we know how to do that? No.
And then we can get cool
We'll figure
actors
it
to
out.
come and do our our version of the Criterion Closet, but it's only like maybe 100 movies in there because there's not that many video game movies. It's like, oh yeah, Resident Evil again. I love this.
Oh
one.
my god.
It's like everyone just keeps picking the most obvious ones.
I mean, I would love to, honest to God,
Sonic the
hijack
Hedgehog.
the Criterion Closet, which is a truck, by the way. It's like a van.
Yeah.
It's not an actual physical building. That's why it looks so narrow, because it's a van. And actually just like hide in stuff like this for someone to be like, what is this? Oh, this is really neat. And actually like, because like whenever any actor does the Criterion Closet walk, they purposely put in their own movies. They hide their own movies in there and hope that like they find, something. Like they had Ben Affleck do it recently, and Armageddon was in there because of his famous commentary track where he made fun of the movie and just all of the terrible decisions that the producers made for that movie. That's not a movie that you can buy on their but they hid it in whatever. We're gonna do that. We're gonna start a GoFundMe to buy all the DVD copies of Siren that we can, and then we're going to literally do Fast and Furious 1, hijack the van, the Criterion van, and just so
while
that we
it's
can
driving,
insert...
we got to get in there just to put we're not stealing anything, we're just
Exactly.
putting things in the...
Exactly. We're doing them a favor.
Here's Forbidden Siren. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, yeah, so we watched this movie. So if you want to watch this movie, folks at home, you could buy a DVD off of eBay, but it's also online, not in a way that like I would prefer, but it's online. You can watch it, whatever, and then watch it and then come back because you probably didn't watch that movie before watching this episode. So do that if you care. Let's talk about this movie. So this was my pick on our draft. We do a movie draft here on video game movies, and this was my second pick. This is also a movie that David had counterpicked, assuming that it might not be good, right? And we're going to talk about this. But yeah, I picked this movie because of the choices that we had. I was like, there's a good chance that a horror game movie is at least going to be okay. You know what I mean? There is an easier time getting to the floor of quality, I feel like, for a horror movie based on the kind of locations they generally shoot at, time of day, etc., props, whatnot.
I was thinking the opposite. I feel like it's hard to make just an okay horror movie because you have to make someone, like, for horror, you have to make them feel fear, where, like, just a normal movie, it's just, like, you just have to make them feel okay. Like, you don't have to extract a true feeling just to have an okay movie.
And definitely with this type of movie, with this type of movie, too. I mean, there's different, obviously, subgenres of horror, but I generally agree that, like, you want it to feel scary or at least make it entertaining scary, like whether it's, I'm walking through a haunted house scary or actually terrifying where I'm getting goosebumps or feeling nauseous, any of those kind of symptoms. This one definitely felt like was more haunted house scary, where it's like, all right, there's going to be some set pieces, there's going to be some cool stuff that we're trying to show in here, but it doesn't need to be like top level horror. So I'm kind of like with both of you guys in different ways, where I'm like, this type of one was trying to be serious. There is definitely other horror movies where it's like, all right, we know why you're here. You're here for some, like, if it's like a fun slasher movie, maybe it's not scary, but there's some cool like kills or whatever. But
that's true.
But no, I agree with both of you in a kind of different ways. But
I get it, and I totally get what you're saying too, David. But my rationale for picking the movie was like, well, there's a chance that they had an easier time making something.
Usually
that's
it's
like
cheaper productions,
acceptable,
all that. Yeah.
But we'll see. I will. Okay, this being my pick, I'll go first. I will say, the first kind of third of the movie, I was kind of just felt like I was going through motions. Like, okay, yep, we're setting a lot of this up, a lot of setup, but it's not like a lot of setup that has a cognitive load on my brain. You know what I mean? Where I have to remember shit. Some of the names, I'm not going to remember some of them because they're not. It's not like a lot of exposition of like, you are this character, and I know that your own name is, but I'm saying your own name to you besides Hideo over and over again. I just know that there's a father, there's our main character, who is an older sister to Hideo, her younger brother, and that's her dad, and they are here on this island. Like, okay, I get it. But there was a lot of slow kind of build up to what is supposed to be going on. There's that mystery of the siren, don't go outside, and blah, blah, blah. We had that flashback of those sailors or soldiers or Japanese Marines or whatever they would be at the beginning, but it was kind of slow. And my one note that I then deleted at the end of the movie, but my one note that I had down at the beginning of the movie was, God damn, this kid is just a prop. This kid only exists. He's not a character. They could have replaced this kid with the dog, and it's the same result. The dog is running around. The dog won't listen. The dog, come over here. I walk up to the dog and remind the dog, don't stop running around. And then obviously the end of the movie is, spoilers for folks that still haven't watched the movie but are watching this episode first. Yeah, of course, the kid isn't a character. It's not a person there, so it is just, just a reflection of a like maternal desire. You know what I mean? Or just the you know what I mean? There's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
So like, okay, cool. Actually, you know what? Delete that note. That works. And that made me, that twist at the end, whether you saw it coming or not, made me enjoy this movie more than I was initially. But that being said, like, there wasn't a whole lot of, like, scary aspects to this film to me, because I kind of, you could see the tracks ahead of the train a lot of the time of, like, okay, yep, these people on this island are going to be weird, and it's going to be unsettling, but nothing was, like, not creative necessarily, but nothing was like, oh, weird, this is something that they're doing something with this idea that was surprising to me, or either this, whether or not I've seen a lot of movies that have this premise of like, there's a lot of people that live here and they're weird in a bad way and I'm scared, you know what I mean? But you can go through the motions in your brain on all the different ways that you can see this kind of route premise happening. And at the end of the day, I will, just because I'm rambling here and I don't really have a train in front of me to hop onto here. That didn't make any damn sense. I will say I liked the movie. I don't think it was something that I'm going to be like, hell yeah about. Besides everything we said at the beginning of this episode, where it's like, this is like a rare movie and it'd be neat to have and be like, look, I got this. Putting that aside, I'm like, okay, this is a neat movie, and the twist made me enjoy it more than I was going in. But David, I want to know what you think, being the counterpick person in this movie, and I know deep down, you got a closet. You're in a cave right now, and you have a closet chock full of what Reddit refers to as J-horror, because you can't call a Japanese horror movie a horror movie. It has to be a J-horror movie. I know you're an expert on this genre, so I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah. Definitely not an expert, if that's not obvious. But I will say I did enjoy this movie. I'm disappointed to hear I counterpicked it. But I know why I did is because, like, a live action horror, I had a feeling like there was also a high chance of it being so bad. Like we've seen, I forget the one that I picked last season. Trigger. Dead Trigger. I mean, that I was hoping it was another Dead Trigger. Is really what I was hoping for, which it was not. Which, I mean, thankfully, because I had to watch this, it was not. But yeah, I thought this was good. I mean, I understand your points of there was a lot of tropes in it, but I think they were pretty well done. One thing I kind of took away was they did a good job of introducing characters without needing to remember the name. To your point of, like, when she was getting chased by these zombies, right? Or, they weren't actually zombies at the end. Spoilers. Supposed to say spoilers first, didn't. But
very spoiled.
But yeah, no, I know. But I, like, remembered all of them, right? It was like that her neighbor lady, like, as soon as she turns around as the zombie, like, I immediately recognized her.
Having them wear the same outfits also helps.
Yeah, but like that's fine. I didn't notice the same outfits. I recognized this character, which is more important, I think.
Right.
And like they really didn't talk much, but they were all memorable for like they made all the characters in town very different looking. I think on purpose, so that when she found like the wall of all those pictures, right? Like you'd be like, "Oh, I recognize." She didn't have to say out loud, "Oh, these are all people in the town currently," right? Like I knew because I recognized them because they were just brought up, I think, well. I don't know if I was fully surprised by the twist, but I think it did get me. I knew there was going to be something weird where like they were going to be dead, or like a Sixth Sense thing where it's like, oh, we died and that's why we're in this island, and they're not zombies, they're just like demons or something. So I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't expect for her to just be like this siren, right, that hears this thing, and this is just something that happens on this island. Maybe if I played the game, I would have predicted that. But no, I thought it was overall good. I was pretty engaged the whole time. I think some of the I don't know what you'd call them, costumes, the like clothing they wore, and like the makeup for the zombies was just okay. I don't know how much of a budget they had. I mean, the zombies, they looked scary, but then they also looked very fake. I don't know how to like. Yeah, I think the costumes could have been better for the zombies.
Wasn't it just like gash makeup on a couple spots on like someone's
some of them
face?
were
their
just,
eyes
like,
were red.
Yeah.
Some of them were like paled up a little bit more, and then
it's tough because like
bleeding eyes. Maybe some of them had
zombies
pale and
aren't
bleeding
real.
eyes.
So we don't
Right.
know what a real zombie looks like, so you have to almost hyper realize what that is. Because like I could be a zombie right now. I could be dead. I don't look ugly, I hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
I guess it just looked,
but
it didn't
I understand,
look like
yeah.
an interpretation. It looked fake, right? Like I was like, oh, it looks like a bunch of white makeup. Not like a type of zombie. But a couple other things I'll just quickly point out. I thought the soundscape was good. I could definitely like feel things as they ramped up music, or like did like the 2 jump scares that they did. I thought it was good. They did a good job making the environment creepy. I just thought it was funny they gave one of the zombies a gun. I thought, wow, that's really scary. And then I was like, oh, actually, maybe it's less scary than a normal person with a gun. Like a zombie with a gun is less accurate. So I was like, actually, maybe that's less.
Because it was the police officer, right?
Right. And then, like, what do we think? One thing I just thought about now when you were talking about the boy and the dog, of like, what happened to the dog then? Because did she kill the dog?
It could be something.
They found the bloodied collar.
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
But at the same time, like, she's, at the end when she's climbing the tower, and I want to get to Devin's thoughts before we kind of really delve into a lot of this stuff, but, like, there weren't people there at the base of the tower. It wasn't an instance of, like, she sees zombies, but they're normal people. A lot of these instances might be not actually happening at all. Like, there might not even be, like, point. So, like, maybe she finds the bloody collar. Maybe she didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
maybe it's just a normal collar.
When she sees the photographs and they say 1979 and it's probably 2006 or whatever, like that can't be true. You know what I mean? Unless there is just completely different people altogether. But again, they got stuff going on there. It could be an instance where the dog was never real. You know what I mean? Because her premise of them going there is obviously not correct. You know what I mean? For what really is the reason. But
they did show the dog, though, on the boat with them when they did like the flashbacks to her talking to nobody.
Right.
Okay.
So I think the dog
presumes
was
it's
there
real.
and either just got lost or she killed the dog like in her psychosis.
Right.
Dog
kind
had
of my
an excellent
interpretation.
lunch. Just all the dog food plus like actual food in there
Yeah.
too. And I'm like, God damn,
It was like
dog eats
full.
better than me. Yeah. David, unless you get something else, I want to
No,
hear what
I think
what
I'd like to
Devin
hear
has
what
to
Devin
say because we
thinks.
usually
He's
skip
our
Devin's
resident
opinions.
horror expert.
A Resident Evil
Resident horror expert.
or expert.
Yeah.
He's our
Well,
biohazard.
first off, I gotta give some shout outs because some of these people looked familiar to me.
Oh.
Well, even before that, I should start from the beginning. The very beginning shot or not the very first shot. Sorry, the first shot where we see our main cast of characters. They're on a boat, and in the background is you see the ocean line, and then you see like this big, blue sky. And I remembered what was at the beginning of this movie. Oh, Toho. As everyone knows, big Godzilla fan, and Toho is probably is one of the biggest producers and exports of Japanese film in general. And this movie did come out in 2006, and to my knowledge, I mean, we still had a couple more Godzilla movies in the work with the suits and everything that they were using at the time. I'm like, I clocked that immediately. I'm like, they're on a boat in one of their water sets that they use for all the Godzilla movies. I know that background.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty sure that I'm like 90% sure that like opening shot with them on the boat, I'm like, they're in the pool where Godzilla has fought many creatures. I'm like, that looks very familiar. But to stay on Godzilla, our doctor character there, Kai, played by Hiroshi Abe, he was in Godzilla 2000, and he has the meme scene in the end of the movie where he's looking at Godzilla at the top of a building, and he yells in the dubbed version, Godzilla, as Godzilla kills him, and it's a really funny scene. I did put it in our Discord.
That makes sense, though. I was wondering why you posted a Godzilla.
And I'm like, where is this? Have I seen this guy? And then I looked up IMDb. And then the policeman is in Shin Godzilla as the foreign minister. So I was like, oh, that guy.
And
they don't show his face that much, but it was 2016. Yeah. But then David was talking about the makeup and stuff. Honestly, the makeup I thought was pretty cool because it reminded me of The Grudge and a lot of interpretations of more of like ghostly, like not like I didn't even look at them as fully zombies. I looked at them as more of just like spirits, and I think that's why I was like I dug their appearance a little bit more. But The Grudge, and I bring up The Grudge because our main character Yuki, played by Yui Ichikawa, she was in both Grudge movies, the Japanese ones, not the English ones, as Chuaharu. That's Ju-on, the Grudge movies there. So it was kind of cool to be like, and that's the reason she got this role, was because they loved her in the Grudge movies. So she got this role in this one.
Did you also hear that the dog in this movie, played by Godzilla himself?
Yeah,
he just put on a furry suit.
Yeah.
That's why he was so big.
It was the suit actor in Godzilla in a dog suit.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Right. Yeah,
3 levels there. But no, I was just looking it up, and I thought that was pretty cool that a lot of I was like, I have seen these people before, but I thought I was just tripping a little bit. But I was like, when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, yeah, I have seen them. So that's cool. And a lot of the cinematography reminded me of some of the early 2000s Godzilla movies I have seen from Toho and whatnot. But this is just, my brain here. But overall, I thought this was just okay. I think there's some cool parts in it, like some stylized choices. Like I said, I did like the ghastly kind of zombie spirit people, and when we finally see them more often. I am also a sucker for like I know we've seen this in like a lot of other types of movies like this, the quiet town trope where you come into a town and like, we don't like outsiders. We won't say nothing to you. You're welcome to like stay here, but everyone's just really weird and quiet. Really liked that. There was some like editing choices though, like especially towards the later end of the movie, I thought were kind of bad. Like there was one part where she gets in the house with Hideo Yuki there, and the one like weird guy that, which was kind of predictable, was like, oh, he actually is trying to help her from the very beginning, but they try to make him seem scary. He's the only one in the town that really knows or whatever. Like when the zombies are breaking into the house there and they do get him, and she's like, oh, we need to run. They do like a weird cut where she like grabs him, or the zombies are about to come in, and all of a sudden she's just outside the house and funnily like walk like with him on his shoulders running away, and they just all of a sudden they're back at their house safe and sound. And I'm like, just the pacing there was really bad in my opinion. But I did like the mystery overall. I thought this was a cool premise, and yeah, the twist at the end I thought was really clever, and I was like, oh, I mean, this makes a lot more sense. And like, you know, there really isn't like, there's some supernatural elements to this, but it isn't the full story. Like, she is suffering from losing her kid or her brother. And like just all the cutbacks to her like talking to nobody, and like that's why the town was all like sussed about her. Like, what's this? Who is this person? Why are they? You know, and it just lets you leave up to interpretation for some of the things, like what happened to the dog, what happened to the father, like was she part of that, like, you know what I mean? Like there's all these little things with that which make it, I guess you can like rewatch it that way. I don't think I will rewatch this movie unless we do the S Rank Criterion Collection 4K restoration.
And the DVD copy, it's a nice packaging. I saw it. I'm like, that would be cool on a shelf. And, you know, and then maybe we infiltrate Toho there. We get the film reel, right? Because I'm sure this wasn't shot digitally. We get the film reel, you know what I mean? And then we do the 4K remaster in David's cave.
Hell yeah. I mean, I did see, they had a... because there was the, where was it here? Yeah, they filmed on Region 2 DVD on September 22nd, 2006, and built a standard and 2-disc special edition, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So there's a special edition out there yearning to be restorized. But yeah, overall, I think this movie was, like, I guess for me, like, compared to a lot of other horror movies I've watched, it felt low budget, but also moments where I could see some of the like I said, like the Toho magic I've seen before, where a lot of those Godzilla movies weren't always the biggest budgets either necessarily. So, yeah, I just thought it was, you know, pretty cool. Just overall makes me interested in like what this game looked like. But
yeah,
I'm not super high in the movie just because, like I said, there's a lot of like smaller things where I'm like, pacing, or they kept going back to the same 3 places or on the path in the forest. But it's fine for what it was. And the characters did keep me interested enough in it. Like we all were mentioning, like, you know, even if I didn't remember their names right off the bat, I was like, oh yeah, that's all right, cool. But yeah, long story short, I'm like, all right, there's some cool stuff in it, but it wasn't like I said, trying to be super scary, but it was serious still.
Spooky vibes, I think.
Yeah, spooky vibes.
Can I ask, do we think, we kind of touched on it already, but like, were they quiet in the town looking back because they were afraid of her, and they know like crazy people who have come here before are these sirens, right? Like that would almost make more sense.
That's, I gotta gather, or at the very least, just they one shot of her when they first, you know, arrive, and like she's like, Hideo, you gotta stay, and she's crouching in front of nothing, holding no one's hands while they all stare. Like right off the bat, they at the very least get the vibe of like, this kid's kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and like a little bit of what Devin said too, like, you know, it's this quiet town, and like I do get the impression that the people that live on that island, like, probably are descendants of people who lived on that island, and so there might, you know, it's just an insular community. Even the doctor calls them introverted. So, but you know, again, like kind of what Devin was saying, it's up to your interpretation how much of that you want to take in. Again, like, I do not think these people looked the way they looked in 1979, but that was a thing that we saw on those photographs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So was that just a complete hallucination?
She definitely hallucinated her dad dying.
Holes, but Yeah,
so there,
that's true. That's true.
I mean,
it is
if she
weird.
can hallucinate her brother being around, she can hallucinate
True.
looking at pictures on a wall
That's
and being
fair.
like,
again,
That's
we
fair.
questioned whether the dog even was there
Yeah.
for a bit until Devin brought up that in the flashback, I want to bring up three, as Devin mentioned, editing choices. I want to bring up three things that I did like, editing-wise. I liked the stupid bug at the beginning when she's on the floor pushing the thing.
Yeah.
Like, that bug's obviously not real, but it was done really well, and I fucking have seen a bug. Maybe not as many legs, but a bug like that in my apartment.
Yeah.
That I do not know where it went.
a centipede
Not like
looking
in the
thing.
movie, but like, yeah, that's a real type of
I
bug.
got baseboard heaters, and that's where they live. Whatever this creature is,
I wasn't
my cat
expecting
doesn't
it
do
to
anything about it.
expecting it to stand up and like,
Yeah.
like that. That's where it was like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm not scared of bugs, but it still got me a little bit where I was like, all right, if I saw like a bug all of a sudden, what seemed to like sit on its hind legs and looked like it was going to attack
in
me
real life.
Yeah,
which is that, they're usually like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. The thing's gonna eat me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it can even perceive you at all. I liked that. Shortly afterward, she's outside. Maybe she's inside. I don't actually remember where she was. I just remember that it was doing a slow pan / turn and focusing on like her breathing, and they filmed that whole thing, but then cut out little parts and just shoved it together, so it was jutting around as it was, and I'm like, that's cool because it's a bit of an unsettling thing. And then the third thing that I liked, which I only now appreciate in retrospect, having looked up about this game after watching the movie, again, the game, the big kind of mechanic in there that's unique or whatever to that game is sight jacking, seeing through the monster's eyes. There are moments in this movie where it cuts to red through someone's perspective in outside, where like, like it's like all of a sudden like you can feel the rumble in your butthole as this creature's
I forgot to mention,
itself.
I really did enjoy that. It was a little
that's probably
cheesy,
what that is supposed
but
to
I dug
reference.
it.
Yeah.
I dug it. Where I was like, I like I think it goes back with even the makeup David was saying. Some of it looked fake. I'm a sucker. I was actually talking about this on one of my Devin's Movie Dungeon streams where I watched a movie called Zombie, and it was an Italian movie, and it's from the 70s, so like, this is the same era of Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, where everyone made fun of that movie like later on for being like, oh, look at the makeup, everyone's like blue, like almost Smurf blue, and I'm like, I dig it though. It's like, it makes it almost like it feels more like a play. And I'm okay with that, like where it almost looks like it's so fake, but like it adds to it. I can't really describe why that like makes my brain tick, but like I was thinking about that with the makeup, where I'm like that, and then like the red vision, the predator vision, so to speak, was like, I'm like, you know what, like it's cheesy, but it's like fun cheese. So I forgot to mention that earlier, like
and then
like that was one of those things.
Loop in the fact that she's hallucinating stuff. It almost like yeah, that's a little bit cheesy, but that's what she's seeing. You know what I mean? That isn't real. That's in her head. So there's a somewhat translucent layer of jelly between like her reality and ours, and that's where the movie a lot of the time kind of lives in, and that's neat. But again, like knowing at the end. It's this is where I'm at when I talked at the beginning of this episode about how like I appreciate the movie more in retrospect after seeing it, but while watching it for the first time, I'm not necessarily bored. I was engaged, but it was like, okay, yeah, okay, oh, okay, yep. Oh, these things mean more now in hindsight, and there's an element there maybe to dissect of like whether or not it matters that a movie might seem boring. Not necessarily I found it boring, but might seem boring to someone while you're watching it, and then at the end it then becomes interesting. Is there an element there to discuss? I don't know. What I did like though, again, ambiguity wise, at the end there is something that is real about what David said, the siren, right? There is something that's real to that, because she killed the doctor at the end. You know what I mean? Like there is an element, there's a real supernatural element beyond her delusions, right? She was thinking one thing. We can assume reality is normal, but then there exists this actual supernatural element, and how much of that we saw in the movie leading up to realizing that she's not all there, well, how much of that was real? Was the woman in red real? I think so, but like how much to a degree?
You can add another interpretation to this, is that there maybe was a legend to this town, but no one really believes in it anymore, or maybe just it's like tradition. And she like Googled that stuff, right? Like she read about it. Who's to say there is no siren at all, but she just read about it, and then like that enabled any of the paranoia or schizophrenia that she's suffering from. So then she, at the end, like, she's like, yeah, the siren's called me. It's like, no, she's the same as she was before. She just now has that legend in her head. I think if I remember correctly, the movie The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers' kind of more avant-garde film of his 4 that he's made, that movie, like, it's 2 sailors, watching a lighthouse, and, Willem Dafoe's character tells him, like, oh, don't mess with the seabird, because, like, here's all the things that could happen to you. And it's like, how much of that was true? Because once he does mess with the seabird, all of a sudden this shit starts happening. But it's like he was already having issues. He's having other things. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but like he's having other stuff going on that like all it takes is, well, it's not, and now it's not me in control. It's something else entirely. So the supernatural actually could even, there's another interpretation you can do with, I think, with this movie, is that the supernatural thing was more just a culture thing that she read about the town. And then once she started suffering these hallucinations, it just added to it, being like, well, this is more, even for the viewer's sake, it's like you're with her the whole movie pretty much, and then you're like, oh shit, like how much do I believe anymore? And then at the end, maybe it's like you could argue none of that is still real, it's just
she's
her
crazy.
own hallucination.
Yeah Exactly.
Yeah.
So
because like
I think it's what makes it cool with that too, is that you could easily just be like,
Yeah.
if there is supernatural, cool, but also it could just be she read about it. It's like if you go on WebMD and you're like, I think I have something wrong with my kidneys, and you go on there and you keep reading about all this shit, even if you're not having schizophrenia or anything, all of a sudden you can, you're like, oh shit, my back does hurt a lot. You start thinking about all those little things. So
yeah.
If that makes sense.
Because I think about the woman in red there, that would be the one thing I would anchor to, like it being like the real supernatural element to it. But the only times we really see where the character, or your Yuki character, sees is like Hideo is hanging out with this woman. Well, Hideo's not real. You know what I mean? So she's either yelling at nothing and just out in the open nothing, or that woman in red is real from that legend of the mermaid or whatever, right? And like she now sees this crazy woman, and it's like, that's a perfect candidate for whatever I want to do. Maybe there's like an element that could be real, or again, she's taking this legend in and making it real in her own mind, and she's literally yelling at no one in the forest or in this clearing or whatever. That's neat, I get it.
But I do think the legend is kind of, like, I guess if I had to pick one, I do think the legend is real to some degree, because the guy at the very beginning, who's on that island, I'll say the strobe lights was a little much during this. I know they're trying to do thunder. I just thought it was a little bit, a little too much. I just struggle with strobe lights more than other people. I don't know who likes strobe lights. I'm old. I'm unk. Like he clearly was going through some shit, and it was way too similar to her conditions. But
yeah,
you can always just go back to, it's like, what if she daydreamed that? You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
What's cool about movies, though, is like with these kind of things, once you get into like each instance, it's like what is being shown to the audience isn't always the reality of the story. Like
right.
It could always be all in one character's perspective, or whatnot. But I think if I had to pick one, I think there is still supernatural elements to it. But I was just throwing it out there that I'm like, theoretically, you could be saying that her just Googling the legend of the town and being more influenced by that, because things do start to pick up after she starts to dig more into it.
Yeah. I guess you just have to, in that scenario, assume most of her interactions that we see are just not real, right? Like all of the interactions with the town of telling her not to go out at night, telling her not to go out during the siren. Like we just have to assume none of that's real. So I think I agree with you that it probably is more, but I do enjoy that there are a lot of new movies. We talk about this a lot, but a lot of new movies like hold your hands like with things. And I kind of like that a lot of this is up to interpretation, right? Like you can decide, oh, maybe it was all fake, or maybe there is supernatural. Like they never say there was definitely supernatural or it was definitely all fake, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. A lot of major blockbusters definitely have the directive of make sure the audience can understand the thing at the end. Like at least a core element that's like, yep, I can anchor myself to Doctor Strange did this. You know what I mean, or whatever. But there are movies out there that still come out that are vague, and we reviewed one on this channel. Another video game movie, Iron Lung, that was vague enough that I felt I missed something. I won't spoil that review, and that movie can still be seen, so we're not going to spoil that movie. But I definitely understand what you're saying, David, and I think that makes this movie more interesting. Because if at the end they said, she was definitely crazy, and there is no supernatural stuff, I would be like, okay, I get it. But the fact that there is the question there just inherently makes the movie more interesting, and that's why we're talking about it a lot more right now than we would have normally. Is there anything else anything that you can remember that we haven't talked about yet about this film? 'Cause I'm trying to think. I feel like I covered everything I wanted to bring up.
Look at my notes here real quick.
I would say, although it changes a little bit, knowing that the brother Hideo is not real, I did say, like, I thought sometimes in a horror movie, I think the main character or like this person who is being hunted does things, and you're like, why would you ever do that, right? But like, I thought she had pretty solid motives of like, oh, she was chasing her brother, even though it wasn't real. In her mind, he ran out. I know it's dangerous, but it's worth it because I need to save my brother, right?
Right.
And so I felt like sometimes that'll take me out of horror movies where it's like, you just heard something outside, this place is haunted. Why are you going outside, right? But I think they did a pretty good job with motives.
One stupid little nitpick, and like I only say stupid because like what else are they gonna do? I get like they're gonna have to do it this way. Is when she goes to like, okay, we gotta go to this tower or whatever. She takes her brother with him. Brother is unconscious. Again, not real, but her brother is unconscious. And then it cuts to, like Devin said, they're on the way there already. And the brother is on her back. Like, how the hell did you get that boy on your back? He can't help. He can't hop on your back. How did you do that? Again, not real. But then also, like, right. What else are they gonna do? Yeah, she carried the child up the tower. She strapped him to her back to do that. And I'm sitting there and be like, I wouldn't do that. But I guess what else would you do? This boy runs around all the time, and there are crazies out there. So I guess you got to bring him up with you. That's insane. But what else are you gonna do? But obviously, you'd be like, well, it was very easy for her to do that because there wasn't anything weighing her down. And then one more stupid thing that it's just stupid in my head because like I see this happening to me in a video game. She's climbing, right? The tower. She's climbing. And oh man, guy's got her ankle and she's kicking. Yeah, and then she takes one more step. Guy's got her other ankle. kicking, and it does that like 5 times, and so I'm watching this laughing to myself because I'm like, this is me fucking up something in a video game. We're like, nope, they got you again. Like no, what am I supposed to do? I'm doing this wrong.
I just saw if it was a quick time event. I'm just like, I could see that popping up. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta hit circle a bunch. Oh shit, I gotta hit X or whatever.
Oh, I didn't press it fast enough. I didn't kick him off this time. Oh, he got me.
And I keep doing the failing thing over and over again. Now it looks stupid. It's like every ring of this ladder is me fighting. Yeah, I don't know. That made me laugh. I don't. That's not like a negative I would have on the movie, but that was a funny little video game thing to remind me of. And having not played these games, and I read that unrelated characters, but still the same island, I believe, that the second game takes place on. Because these came out are generally the same time, so they were tying this into the second game. Like, I wonder how much, again, we're talking about this question of supernatural at all in this movie. How much of that is true in the games is I don't know. And maybe having known whether or not that is the case in the games might have colored an interpretation while watching the movie beyond just like, I know this is a horror game, so there's going to be something unsettling in general. You know what I mean? So there is that when you walk into this movie having played the game, might be a little bit different. But yeah. So Devin,
I'll just say one last thing. End credits music. I pay attention to these things. It's very important to end your movie with something either cool or if you like want them to think about something. And this cool, like, I don't know, just I don't even know. I don't remember like fully even what genre you would call it, but it was just a cool song at the end, and I dug it. So shout out to the cool song at the end.
Nice.
Yeah. Sure. I'm a sucker for because we've seen a lot of like usually the Resident Evil movies would have some just like hell yeah man like just electronic, maybe a metal industrial something going on, and I always appreciate it. But this one was like a cool like it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, they took this movie very seriously, right? You can tell. So, you know, it was not Paul W.S. Anderson, who probably was just like, hell yeah, the whole time he made all 7 of those Resident Evil movies with his wife. And then they made that Monster Hunter movie, which I believe we have as an E-rank.
I feel like we can't shit on him because he's just a wife guy at the end of the day. Like when when you think about it, he's just trying to make his wife happy. He's like, we're gonna make 7 goddamn movies.
They keep making money, so like he's not doing anything wrong. Like he's doing his job and it's working, right?
I agree with you, but there is an element of like, bro just wants to hang out with his wife on set all day and make her look cool as hell. I'm like, there's an element of love there that I respect, and I'm like.
I know people were making
hey,
fun
honey,
of
you
want
to go jump from building to building? Oh, that'd be pretty cool if you did.
The Game Awards, she presented an award, and because she's also a character in Dead by Daylight now or something like that, right? It's her video game debut. I don't remember. I think as herself. Cool. I think as herself because Nicolas Cage was in there as himself. I think they do that. But obviously because of the Resident Evil connection there would be why they did it. But people were making fun on Twitter or whatever how she said video games, and I'm like, listen, this woman is probably in her 50s or whatever by now. She is your kooky aunt. Not everyone is a Twitter brain gamer that comes up on here or a celebrity that doesn't know what they're doing. She's somewhere in between.
She's your cool aunt though, who was in 7 Resident Evil movies. All right, have some respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right. Okay. Let's move on to doing the main reason we're here. Guys, we drafted, how many of these would be? 18 video game movies for this season. Points are awarded depending on how we collectively rank our film on the patented S through F tier list, which I know sounds like we're not using any of the core letters that one would rank a movie, but I assure you we do. Devin will get into that in a second here. But yeah, this is our 4th movie that we've done for the season. We've done Werewolves Within, Doom Annihilation, and Last Order Final Fantasy VII.
I don't remember at all Final Fantasy. Like, I forgot I drafted it. I forgot we gave it an E. And that's the last episode we did. I remember Doom Annihilation, Werewolves Within. I really, like, when that popped up on screen just now, I'm like, what? What does it look like? I can't even tell you what it looks like or what happened.
Same.
That's how E that was.
And we could
Like,
go
what
into
movie is that?
we could go into the specifics on how that movie is not much of an actual movie and how it's this other thing instead. But you guys can watch that episode.
Maybe that's why I
at
don't
home.
remember. It was like what, 15 minutes?
It's a lot of me hand wringing about the importance of this podcast and how I feel like I have failed. But anyway, Forbidden Siren, our fourth movie, my second pick, and so I'm curious to see where we all kind of sit on our ranking thing here. I'll go first because I picked this movie as is tradition. And so I'll give my pitch for what I think is the tiers, but I believe I am jumping ahead here. I believe Devin needs to explain what these tiers are.
Yes.
So I don't remember how long this is. Well, I'm just going to say 3 minutes.
We're locking in.
How long this is. Ready, Devin?
He's got it.
Go.
Yep. Folks, here on the Sonic Movie Show, a podcast under the S-Rank Productions YouTube channel, we rank video game movies on an S through F scale, but this is on a video game movie curve, right? So this isn't, on a regular movies curve. We're not doing Letterboxd here. I log these movies on Letterboxd, but at the end of the day, we rank this on a video game movie curve. So an S rank, as you see on screen here, if you're watching with us at home. You see Detective Pikachu, Gran Turismo, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Tetris on there. Those movies may be like a B for you on a regular movie scale, but on a video game movie scale, we put in the S because they are very good. They have that special sauce. These are movies we would highly recommend. If you've never watched a video game movie, put one of those on. Next, we get A, which is still very good. We have Mortal Kombat 2021 in there, Neko Atsume House, Professor Layton the Eternal Diva. That was a surprise pick last year. Sonic the Hedgehog, Rampage, Street Fighter, Super Mario Brothers, both of them. Tomb Raider, the newer one. Uncharted, with our boy Tom Holland there. Those are A. Those are also good. These might not have that special sauce to get into S, but still, we would highly recommend these ones as well. Now we get to B, which has movies like Dragon Quest Your Story. I remember that one. That one had a twist at the end. Spoilers. Dead Space Downfall. Five Nights at Freddy's. Not the second one. Mortal Kombat 1995. Mortal Kombat Legends. Scorpion's Revenge. Ni no Kuni. Resident Evil. A couple other Resident Evils in there. Silent Hill. Sonic 3 is in there. B is more good than bad. The ratio maybe changes for the three of us here, but for me, I always say about 60% good, 40% bad. Usually puts it in the B rank for me. C is your middle ground. This is where the bell starts to curve, they say. Angry Birds, a Minecraft movie, Bayonetta Bloody Fate, Corpse Party, Dante's Inferno, an animated epic, Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, the other Tomb Raider. There's a bunch of other on this. I'm not going to read every single one out here. A lot of our movies fall here because most of them are just fine. Okay, that's kind of where those two words really do the most of the lifting for this ranking. Just okay, 50-50 good, maybe bad. Maybe there's something interesting there to keep us generally interested, but at the end of the day, it's just fine. Or maybe there's some cool action in there, or whatever. Just your run-of-the-mill movie. I feel like this is more of our, generally speaking, obvious ones, because like I said, a lot of it falls in here. God damn, there's a lot of Resident Evils in this. Yeah, oh my lord,
the RE block.
Because hey, they're cool. There's cool action in all those. But like we said, it's just Paul W.S. Anderson being like, I want to make a new movie with my wife. Now we get to D here, which is to me the opposite of B. So you have more bad than good. Once again, maybe it's a 60-40 ratio there. Some of the movies in this have bigger productions than others, so we try to I think keep that in retrospect. When we're ranking all these movies, like, hey, some of these have bigger budgets. We try not to rank it on always on that, because you have big budget movies on here like Assassin's Creed and Doom, which were just boring or miss the plot. Just like, hey, what's this video game movie supposed to be about? Ratchet and Clank, holy shit, visually looks decent, but who cares? Warcraft, phenomenally beautiful movie, but just what happened? Who knows? And the Resident Evil Final Chapter, I think we got in Afterlife. We were just like, oh my god, there's a 6th and 7th one. All right, dude. Like, we were kind of running its course there. But yeah, D is the opposite of B, more bad than good. Then we get to E, which is movies like Blood Rain, Dead Trigger, The Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. I'm going to make sure I emphasize that one. The King of Fighters, Mortal Kombat, Annihilation, Monster Hunter, another Paul W.S. Anderson there with his wife. Milia Jokovic there. In case, I guess I don't know if we said her name. Milia Jokovic. Yeah, that's just bad. No redeemable factors. Do not watch those movies. For sure. And then we have F, which we hope to never put a movie in because that means we suffered we lost part of our brain cells. Something happened to us physically. F is saved for movies that are just downright not just terrible but offensive to humankind. That's the movie Postal, made by Uwe Boll. Do not watch this movie. Do not pirate this movie. Do not engage with this movie. Don't even think about this movie. We're already moving on, and that is all our rankings, S through F. Thank you.
And then these are the points that are awarded for it. It's a very simple linear line there. X gives you 6 points. F gives you 0 points. Since David counterpicked this movie, you can see the counterpick equivalent kind of slider there. If it's an S rank film, David loses 2 points. But if it's an F tier film, David gets 4 points. A very simple line like that. Anything is possible. Anything can happen when you're a part of a team or whatever they say in the Lego movie, which was a fun movie. And there's a video game based on that movie. So then does retroactively that movie become a video game movie? No, it doesn't. Anyway, we've had 3 movies ranked so far this season. One we gave a B, another we gave a D, and a last one, the latest, we gave an E. So now we're going to each take turn pitching what we personally would give as a letter tier for Forbidden Siren. I'll go first since this was my movie pick. To summarize everything I said about this film so far, I enjoy it a lot more in hindsight because I find it interesting. I find a lot of the things interesting to think about because I now have the full picture having watched the film. But through watching it straight up until that point, it was a lot of like, hey, okay, yeah, I could see what's going on here. This isn't bad or anything like that. I can see it. It is just like the twist at the end there, which I didn't personally see coming at all, made me go, oh, I was not expecting a movie based off a video game to have this twist in it, because how do you reconcile that with a player character and blah blah blah, like. So it did catch me off guard in a positive way, and so I'm higher up on this movie because of all of that. Personally speaking, understanding the budget, understanding a Japanese live action production, and just the nature of how video game movies are. Personally speaking, I'm at a low B for this film. That's where I'm sitting, and I have to specify low B. Because even though our letter tiers are all encompassing for what they are, Devin and David are very insistent on tiers within the tiers, and I have to respect at least the premise that they present, whether or not I agree with that. So I'm sitting at a low B for Forbidden Siren. And David,
why not a little B?
Because I watched Little Bill a lot as a kid. And then when he grew up to be the based god, I don't know. David, what do you think?
Anyways, yeah, I mean, I'm with you here. I was thinking this was either going to be a B or an A. I think the more I think about it, it's just more good than bad. It's not all good, right? Like I had definitely some serious not concerns or gripes.
Serious concerns with this candidate.
Concerns. I couldn't think. Like I had some serious comments, right, on like some of the things here. So I don't think I could give it an A, but a B. Like I was happily surprised, and to me that's like a B for me. Where it had some comments. So I'm with you. I would probably give this a B.C.
Okay,
or
so
a
you're
B
a
for
mid.
those
You're
of
a
you
mid B
who don't want to do math. Yeah.
Okay. Devin.
I mean, going in, I was kind of in a in a lower C. Like I said, I think some of the production at moments looked really good and felt where it should be. And then there are times just like some of the editing choices were weird or inconsistent, or felt like shit, we didn't have a scene to get us from this place to this location, and so it literally made me laugh sometimes. I'm like, okay, what was that? Like we were doing good, and then all of a sudden, if we were doing Guitar Hero or Cooking Mama or any of those type of rhythm games, music games, kind of. You didn't get the solo down. You got the whole song pretty good, but the solo you could use some work. That's kind of how I interpreted this movie in a just full fleshed out, because there was some really cool cinematography or like editing choices, mostly in the first half, and then the second half for me there was just a couple, like I've said, the one where they're in the house, but somehow they're outside the house when the zombies come in, and then she's carrying her brother on her shoulders, and all of a sudden then they're back at the house and she's tucking him in. Like there wasn't just zombies attacking you. Just thought that was a little jarring. But then there was some really cool stuff. I did actually like the makeup. Like I said, it reminded me of The Grudge a little bit, but also just of the kind of 70s zombie movies in general, where the makeup is almost obtuse to a point where it's cool. Like I said, it reminds me of a play or something like that. Like it adds to it that I really can't describe, other than if you're gonna do it low budget, just buy into it, make it look really like make it look jarring. I thought that was cool. The red vision was cool, and the more like I'm with Ethan, where like the more we talked about it, I'm like, there's some really cool fun things in this. I do say though, I don't think if we don't get that ending, I think we would have a different conversation. I think we would have been having.
I agree.
Being like, there's some cool like scenes and stuff, but overall the ending, which I was worried was just gonna be turning into just like she gets out of the tower in some way, or she makes them all wake up from their zombie, or the siren goes off, or she destroyed the siren. I wasn't sure where it was gonna go, but I was pleasantly surprised where it did go, and I think that's what made it feel better overall. You stuck the landing. Like I said, no one's going to remember that guitar solo. Everyone's going to be like, oh, that was a really cool riff you did at the end of the song there. That was sick. And that's what you want to leave the people with. So with all that said, we went from, I was going, like I said, like a lower C, maybe even D at one point. I'm okay going to a high C on this. We're already going B, sounds like, anyways. So if it gets pumped up to a low B, sure, that's cool with me.
Sure.
I would love to watch this movie in 4K, because I will say, in our version, some of the nighttime scenes I could not make out anything.
Hey, if you learned Spanish, you could have watched a higher version of it on Daily Motion.
I wonder if we could have started the 480p version we watched and the Spanish version and mute the Spanish version and like have it on the side.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's worth like going to that effort, but
well,
we could have
when I go to do a screen grab for the thumbnail, I'm going to go to the Spanish version and use that as a source. Okay, yeah, I mean, so we kind of average out, or we try to agree to an average out of what our three tiers are. Dave and I both are saying B. Devin is saying a C. Kind of sounds like we're meeting in the middle with a low B. So that is what Forbidden Siren gets.
Because that's no bueno for me.
Yes. Well, it's not bueno either. It's no bueno, but it's also not no bueno, because B is just 0 counterpoints for you, so you're not losing anything. Yeah. At the very least, I'm gaining. I know, 4 points.
But I feel like 0 is a negative for counterpoints, because we have C at 1, getting 0, and you getting +4. I mean, it's going to be tough for me to come back.
True.
Is all I'm saying. I'm in the negatives currently.
Yeah, okay. I agree with David a little bit here, where I feel like, especially this season compared to other seasons, we have even more of a like less of knowledge on these movies just by titles. Like it's going to be like I'm like the only one I'm looking left on this list is like Hitman and Batman are the only two where it's like
Yeah.
I'm like maybe those will be like B to A to S. maybe. I don't know.
Right.
But I remember we grabbed the way we drafted it was the way we drafted it because of just like we've been hurt before by even just main titles like Mortal Kombat or a Hitman. So it's like it's hard to know. Yeah. So
we
it's
forced
gonna be weird.
us to each have one counter pick within the first 2 rounds of movies. So to force that like the risk of potentially counter picking a good movie. So Devin actually did get a point for counter picking Doom Annihilation there. And we'll see if I gain or lose points for
that's what's keeping me alive right now because that E on last order there.
That's brutal.
Oof.
Yeah, you ended up with more points.
First
than David,
pick.
Even
first pick. That's
a movie.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gained 4 points for Forbidden Siren.
Crazy.
So technically I'm in the 8.82, but there is a chance, and I do mean a chance this time, that I might gain a little bit more because how does this decimal system work, Devin?
Yes, so we have a decimal here, and the reason for that is one, to give ourselves a tiebreaker, and it did actually come to a factor in our first season, and eventually they start to stack up to where like you kind of can make up ground if you start getting some solid ones in there. But yeah, the decimal is based off of Rotten Tomatoes score. So Rotten Tomatoes, is a website where people can go on there and put their rankings for movies. But it's not like Letterboxd, and they do break it up based off of critics, so people who are like paid to review movies, and then there's the general audience. For us, we use the general audience score. So let's say it's 50%. We will move that decimal point over 2. That's 0.50 points there. So they do start to add up. It's also just a fun way for us to be like, because we've ranked a movie before that we were all high on, then the audience ranking, was lower or was right where we met, so we kind of feel validated. We're like, yeah, we're right where everybody is. Or it's fun to like, when David picks a movie, he says this movie's fantastic, and then me and Ethan feel validated when we get one where it's like, no, it was it was just as low as we said.
I don't know that's ever happened.
But no, it's a fun way for us to like look at it, but also add a fun tiebreaker in there. Because like I said, they do stack. I think last year David got probably the highest score we'll ever see, when Gran Turismo got an S, and then it had a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. So he got literally 6.98 points. Pretty, like I said, highest score you're probably gonna get. So it's fun. It's fun to in there, and that's sometimes when we're drafting, that's what we keep in mind. We're like, you know what? Even if we don't like this, maybe I'll get an extra point on there because it's gonna be around an 80, maybe. So.
Well, Ethan might get another point here because he's at 0.82 already. So if there is a score, I think he's going to crest an extra point here. And
out of the 3 of us, I have the most no user score films. So like, depending, because again, this is a Japanese only DVD for anyone that wants to watch it right now. You're kind of doing it that way, or how we did it, so it's not like it's something that is popping up on streaming. Oh, I'll log this.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm curious. Although, if I were to guess what I think, if there is a score, what there would be, I feel like I'm sitting. Maybe this is optimistic. Maybe I'm assuming that the general audience would see the movie how we're seeing it. But I'll be a little bit conservative here, and I'll just say a 60%. I don't know.
Dave, I was thinking 62, but I the more I think about it, I'm gonna go 68.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Well, you're both neither correct or incorrect because this one does not have a score.
Okay.
Dang.
No critic score, no popcorn meter. Unfortunately, which means we also don't have any reviews. And I did try to look up Siren as well because I know IMDb technically lists it as Siren. And there is other movies called Siren.
Yep.
But I'm not seeing
Finding
it.
Is tricky.
I'm not seeing it right now, and I'm trying to look up Siren 2006 one more time here. Make sure. because there's Siren, all caps. There's the Siren. There's Siren 108, Siren Play, members only. What? The Little Mermaid 2, Return of the Sea. I don't know. Now it's just TV shows, Sirens. So yeah, I'm not seeing it on here. I did link it and it did have in the. Someone did put the effort in to put not the movie poster, but like a little like channel art, so to speak, like we have on YouTube here of a screenshot from the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, there's long story short, unfortunately nothing. Ethan's streak of he finds great prospects, in the foreign markets here, but unfortunately no one's heard of him.
That's the risk, right? That's a risk. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm still happy with a
so
B.
glad you got a B though, because if you got like an E and then no points, that's where it really hurts. For sure. But hey, I think B, you're looking good right now. 2 Bs.
Yeah, 2 Bs.
This is what you can ask for in this kind of draft where we really did not. Yeah. We still don't know what we're getting out of this.
Bs. I might have all season Ds.
We'll see. Yeah, because the next movie we're watching is David's second pick, and it is another foreign, I think, horror game. I think this is a Taiwanese film, Detention.
Whoa.
Also, you guys said 2 Bs, and I'm wearing a 2B sweatshirt
because you knew you're getting 2 Bs today.
I knew it.
Okay,
there you go.
Okay. Well, that was Forbidden Siren. I don't think I mentioned this about the video game. The video game in America is just called Siren. In Japan and Europe, it's Forbidden Siren. We also did not get Forbidden Siren 2, but Europe did. I don't know why. So, interesting. But then we did get that PS3 one. So, okay. Well,
hold on. I'm gonna let Mickey out, but keep moving.
Okay. Folks at home, I want to thank you guys for watching this episode, but we're not all completely done. Usually at the end of these episodes, we do a big type of game show, right? I get these boys together and
I forgot
we
about
do a big thing here, which involves points, involves tests of skill, tests of might, even tests of luck sometimes. And I wanted to do a big one for today's episode. I really did. This one was going to involve playing cards, and David's in a cave. And I guess in the cave, he doesn't have any playing cards. So I guess just, unfortunately, we're not going to have a big, bombastic a game show going on today, unfortunately. However, I did have something cooked up. Something that might be even bigger, even badder.
Oh, my God.
Even... Yeah, I knew he was doing that.
Even
the dog's back.
Yeah, okay. But I thought you let the dog out. Why is there a dog here?
Sometimes you gotta let one out, let a bigger one in.
God. All right. Well, I want to introduce our 2 competitors here to today's fun-filled, fantastic game show that I like to call Sight Jacking. It's very simple.
God.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 50. You are to guess what my number is. I'm going to show my number to the audience here, and I'm going to ask that the 2 of you look away from your screen right now, please. You 2 may look at the screen once more. The audience has seen the number. Right. It is a number between 1 and 50. Here is how it goes, however. So first off, you are not allowed to do anything other than say a number. You're not writing anything down. If either of you say a number that has already been said, you lose. If you say a number that is adjacent to a number you just had said previously, or that your opponent has just said previously, you lose. If David says 17 and Devin says 18, Devin loses. If Devin says 17 and then Devin comes back around and says 18, Devin loses. If David says 17 and Devin says 17, Devin loses. Or vice versa. But I'm just predicting what's probably going to happen. It's very simple.
So if someone picks a number right above it, you're saying that's out?
Correct. Now, if you pick 17, David picks 20, Devin, you pick 28, and then David picks 18, that works. Because it wasn't the number that was just said by either of you. Does that make sense?
Oh, it's just the previous one.
Just the previous one.
I see.
Right.
So, but can we? So, if it's the actual number, say he guesses 17, and I'm 100% sure it's 7 or like one under or one over, and it's the correct number, do I still lose?
You know what? I didn't think about that. I will say, I'm glad you brought that up. If you break that rule, but you actually pick the correct number, you win. We'll add that risk in there.
Yeah, okay. Great.
I will be keeping track of what your numbers are. But you are not allowed to.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to. Got it.
Now,
okay.
For folks at home that are wondering what they're seeing on the screen here, usually I have like points up there.
Well, you're seeing a champion.
Yeah, and above the champion, it says the letter D and his 3 current trophies. That's above him. Sorry, I forgot. Like, Devin, you won something last season, right? Did that happen?
Well, that's why I have not just 1, but now 2. Because I feel like, as champion, I feel like it is my diligent duty to give ourselves an award or, a belt, so to speak, or belts plural. Maybe it'll turn into one. I don't know. To have a better name than just we're champion. All right. Because this matters a lot to us. And I thought, there's 2 D's in this conversation. There's Dog and Devin. And unfortunately, there's also David and Devin. So why not have 2 belts into one double D? Double D championship. And so I was thinking executively making the championship double D. Like I said, I think it should stand for Dog Devin, Underdog Devin. But since I am I'm nice. I'm a nice person. I'm a great person, in fact. Everyone's saying it. I think we include David in this conversation. I'll just say D technically stands for David Devin, but for the sake of entertainment, it's double Devin, it's Dog Devin, it's Underdog Devin, it's Devin. Wow. D2, let's go. That's all I wanted to point out, Commissioner.
Okay. And if this movie has taught us anything, it is that the opposite of dog is God, and the opposite of live is evil. We didn't mention that at all in the review, but yeah, that was a thread going on there.
Anyway,
yeah, okay. So, David has won 3 game shows so far this season. Devin has not gone completely defeated here, and it is still close. He has won 1 game show. Devin. There, we are on to our
underdog,
5th one.
Classic underdog, honestly.
So Devin could catch up, or David could start to peel away like the speed racer he once was. Now he's just in a cave.
That's right.
So
Plato's cave.
You're gonna take turns. I am going to. How do I decide who's gonna go first? Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm thinking of a different number now.
I was gonna say, just do it.
I'm gonna say Devin is gonna go first because he is the actual underdog right now. So Devin, what is
the theoretical
your first number guess?
Is it out of 50?
Between 1 and 50. And remember, if you say a number that someone already said, you lose, and you can't say a number adjacent to a number that was just said by you or your opponent.
And this is who's going first, right? Is this for who's going first, or
we are beginning now, and you are going first.
Okay. I mentioned 2 Ds, so why not we stick with that? 2 is my number.
Wrong. David.
50.
Wrong. Devin.
Damn.
3. No. 5.
Wrong.
That was close already.
I remember the rules.
Underdog trying to keep himself an underdog.
David?
1.
David loses. No, I'm kidding.
He said 3.
He said 5. You're right. You're wrong, but you didn't lose.
But I'm good regardless. Yeah.
Devin.
I was like, just how I played it.
I'm looking at my own columns here, and I'm already getting confused. But you're fine, Devin.
9.
Wrong, David.
27.
Wrong, Devin.
11.
Wrong, David.
God. 49.
Wrong, Devin.
69. Just kidding, I can't guess that. 49.
Wrong, and you lose. And I gave you time. That was David's last thing. Just said the number he said.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Keeping track of his.
Big bombastic ending here.
All right.
I guess I reveal what
Feels
the number
good.
was.
Sometimes the gods just want you to win. That's what happened here today. You know, the underdog. Wow, we were really close. 4.
I was gonna guess
God.
4, but I was like, I can't guess. So I went 5.
Wow, it's the number of trophies. That's
I
what
also should have kept my strategy of just keep going up. But then I was like, that's not
I was
fun.
going down. That's why I picked 49 as my last one, because I was like, oh god, I'm gonna start forgetting what I said. So I was like, I'm just gonna start going down.
Yeah. I thought you said 39 earlier, and I think you did.
I think you tripped yourself up because you said 69, and then that made you disconnect from what it was. Well,
that's fine.
I was
Underdog
kind of
mentality.
Really hoping that
numbers
would go
has never
on
been
really
my
long,
game because the only numbers I care about is 2, which is 2 of these bad boys, which David doesn't have.
Right. Well, you could have had 2 trophies up above.
Working my way
name,
towards.
But
yeah.
David, congratulations on your victory.
I mean, he's really. Thank you. It feels good.
Good job at guessing a random number. You should be really proud of yourself.
Winners is gonna win. You know, the underdog. They can say whatever they want, but until they make their comeback, you know, they're just an underdog. They're just under. So
I used a Cards Against Humanity blank card to carve the 4 and 2. So I guess I now have this as a thing forever.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Well, congratulations, and thank you guys for watching. Hey, you know, folks at home, we're a podcast. I know you're listening to us in your car, along with your other podcast stuff, but we're also on video. I actually hope you watched the video. Otherwise, you didn't know what number I had, because I didn't say it.
Well, they can
so
play
I
along
hope you watched
at
the
home.
video. Yeah, we're our YouTube channel, YouTube. I'm so tired, man. srankproductions. Please give us a like and subscribe. Please subscribe. All right, we're a thing right down there. There's the button that says subscribe. There's another video over there you can click. We're on other places as well, but we want YouTube to explode. Isn't that right, David?
Yeah, I mean, the champion wants you to like and subscribe, click the bell. That's what you have to do when you're a champion, is you have to like and subscribe.
You have to. Are you a champion at home, or are you just another dog? Let us know in the comments below. Literally, one word in the comments below. Champion or dog. You have to pick one. Thank you guys for
everyone
watching.
knows what to pick. Everyone knows what to pick.
4.
Champion.
See you guys next time. And as always,
Siren out.
Wee wee wee. Whatever the siren does.
Wee, wee, wee.